Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk you through some books that I think would be really great gifts and also some books that I think might not be. So yeah, let's just get started. So for the first section, I'm going to talk about nonfiction, and I think that nonfiction is one of the easier book gifts to give. I think you can kind of hardly go wrong, unless maybe it's like a weird self-help or something like that. Not everybody wants one of those, but in general, I think it's a good place to start with a gift, especially if you don't know someone. So first we have Everything is Tuberculosis. This actually won for the Goodreads Choice Awards for nonfiction this year. This is written by John Green, and it's all about tuberculosis and the history of tuberculosis and how sad it is and how terrible it is that it still exists even though it's curable. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one. It's kind of sad, but it's very much a beginner book. And it's easy to understand and everything. So I think that this is a really good option. Next we have Stanley Tucci's book on taste. And so this is all about food and experiences through food. So yeah, I think you can't really go wrong with this one. You could really get this for anyone and anyone would love it. Next we have All in Her Head, and this book is by Elizabeth Comen. And this is really for your feminist friend or someone that maybe needs a little bit of help kind of understanding what women go through. And this is all about kind of the medical field. It says the truth and lies early medicine taught us about women's bodies and why it matters today. So yeah, this is all about women's bodies, the history around medicalization, how things are not necessarily true for women as they are for men. And yeah, I think it's a really interesting book, and it's definitely something that if you have a friend that's interested in medicine or feminism or anything like that, any aspects of society, this one is a good go-to. Okay, next up we have horror. I think that one author that you can check out that has a lot of great books is Riley Sager. Most of his books are really good and they hardly ever miss. So I think as a general author, Riley Sager is great. The House Across the Lake, etc. You can look them up, and generally they're all really good books. And I think that someone that's into horror or wants to get into horror, I feel like they're kind of a bit beginner books because they're quite fast-paced and upbeat. So yeah, I definitely think that these ones are good for beginners that are interested in horror / thrillers. And yeah, Riley Sager is just kind of like a safe bet. Next, we have one that's not a safe bet, and this is The Eyes of the Best Part by Monika Kim. I think that this is for your bizarre friend who likes really odd horror and maybe has, you know, some interest in body horror. Of course, it's about eyeballs, kind of, so I think you have to be careful who you give this to, but if you have a friend that's like super bizarre, this is the perfect one. Feast While You Can, also another bizarre, kind of not a haunting, but kind of almost like a possession book, but it's like very detailed and in-depth. This is, I feel like, an advanced book for horror readers. This is not really a beginner book. There's some romance in here as well. It's just incredibly well done. But again, this is like for your friend that absolutely loves horror and has already read a lot of horror and knows what it's about and is okay reading a more advanced book. Okay, last we have Chuck Tingle's Lucky Day. This is a 2025 release. And in this book, we have like this low probability event and blah, blah, blah. There's things that happen that are very odd and bizarre, but it's a very fast-paced book. It's very interesting, fast-paced. There's, you know, a lot of interesting characters in it. So I think that this is quite beginner friendly, but also is great for people that already like horror and already are quite experienced in the horror genre. And it also has some like dystopian kind of themes to it. So if you have a friend that really wants kind of a mixed genre book, I think that this is definitely a good choice. And like I said, it's beginner friendly and also friendly for people that already love horror. Next up, for mystery lovers, we have Richard Osman. This is a whole series, The Thursday Murder Club. It also was just turned into, I believe, a Netflix show. I've watched it, but I don't remember which platform it was on. This is for people that kind of like, you know, a cozy mystery, maybe a bit like Sherlock Holmes, a bit like the show Only Murders in the Building. So yeah, this is like a really good choice if it's something cozy that you're looking for. Also, Anthony Horowitz is a really good author for this. He has like many different books, many different series. But yeah, those are all kind of like cozier vibes rather than like intense murders. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Next up, we have Han Kang's Human Acts, and this is a historical fiction about South Korea. This is a pretty horrifying, sad book, but I think for people that enjoy historical fiction, I think this would be a really good choice. So I would definitely just like look into the book and see if there's any kind of trigger warnings. But if someone likes war books or likes devastating historical fiction books, I think that this is perfect. There's also Kristin Hannah that has quite a few great books in this kind of realm. So I would also look into those. I think that there's quite a few great authors in historical fiction. And I think it's just tailoring it to the person. I always feel like historical fiction is kind of hard to get for someone unless you really know them. But Kristin Hannah and also Han Kang are great authors. So I think that those are great choices. Okay, next what I want to talk about are two books that are really not great gifts. These books are great books, incredible books, but I feel like you have to really know the person in order to give it to them because they have a lot of different trigger warnings. And these are popular. So we have A Little Life. This, I think, it won a bunch of awards. It's really an incredible book, but it is so devastating. There's so many trigger warnings in here. It's a very dark read. So I think if you know the person and know that they're okay with that, then sure, go ahead. But there's, you know, a lot of essay in here and a lot of different things that are really traumatizing and could bring up a lot of feelings. So I would say do not get this book for someone unless you know exactly what they like and that they would be okay with that. On the same note, we have Earthlings. And this book was really popular a couple years ago, but it still is quite popular and people talk about it a lot. Same thing here. We have a lot of horrifying things in this book, and it's just not something that I would give to someone without knowing that they're okay with it and without someone maybe even asking for it. If they ask for it, of course, but I think that you don't know what you're getting yourself into with this book, especially with like the cute cover. And it's, you know, readily available in all the bookstores and you might see it and think it's very cute. But it's not. It's really, really depressing. So just be careful with this one. I think that maybe go with some other options that I've given. But yeah, I don't know. This one I just would not really recommend gifting. Okay, that is it for the list of books that I think would be great gifts. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree with any of them, and also what books you're gifting this year. I'm really interested. I love to hear what books people got for Christmas. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to keep it short and kind of get my favorites in and books that I think are really good for gifting. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.